Good morning again. Just a quick confirmation if you can see my screen and also hear me loud and clear. Hope you can see the annotations on the screen as well. Amazing. So how is everybody doing today? And it would be really helpful if you can quickly allow me to know from where you are joining this session. Are you joining the session from Hyderabad? Are you joining the session from maybe Telangana, Pune, Bangalore, Mumbai? Where are you joining the session from? Amazing. A lot of people I see are joining from Telangana and Hyderabad. Bangalore, amazing. Perfect. Hyderabad, Bangalore, super. So before I begin the session, my name is Kanav Bansal. Let me quickly introduce myself and also Innovatics Research Labs. And then I'll try to get into the major crux of today's session. And today's session is something which will be definitely very important for you to attend. You will learn a lot about the current landscape of tech interviews in data science, AI, generative AI. And I will also help you understand why is this going to be really a transformational journey for you attending this particular session today as well as tomorrow. I hope before I start this discussion, I hope we all know that this session is going to be hosted over 2 days. Today is the day one, and tomorrow we will have at the same time, we will have day two, wherein we will try to cover a lot of other generative AI related concepts as well. In today's session, the major focus is going to be something called as data analytics, whereas in tomorrow's session, data analytics plus Gen AI. And in tomorrow's session, the focus is going to be majorly AI, ML, and Gen AI itself in its true form, in its raw form. And before we start this entire discussion, before we get into this entire interesting discussion on what currently is going on in the technical interviews, I don't want to bore you with what is currently going on. Instead, what I've done is I've bought few interesting interview questions for us to solve together over the next 2 hours. And I also would recommend all of us to keep a pen and paper with ready so that whenever I give you a question, you please try to take that question, try to solve that question, and share your solutions in the chat section. Is that instruction clear to all of us? Can you please quickly drop an acknowledgement if that instruction is clear? In order to effectively utilize this session, I would suggest all of you to keep a pen and paper ready so that whenever I give you a problem statement, you can try to solve that problem statement and maybe share your solutions directly in the chat. Now, the reason why I want you to do this is very important. Is there anybody in this session who has ever been to gym? Is there anybody in this session who has ever been to a gym? Anybody here who has ever been to a gym? All right. When you go to the gym, tell me what happens. Like, do you go to the gym and watch your trainer doing all the exercises? Do you watch your trainer doing all the pull-ups, push-ups, bench presses, bicep curls, etc.? Or do you do those exercises yourself to improve your physique? You have to do it that yourself, right? You cannot watch your trainer doing all these exercises. If you do that, you will never be able to become better, right? The same principle we have to apply here. Whatever question I give you, I want all of us to participate and answer as many questions as we can. Doesn't matter if we are answering it correctly or incorrectly. Anyhow, I will be sharing the correct answer towards each and every single question when we discuss. Now, before I dig deeper into the topics for today's discussion, I want to quickly introduce who we are and what we do. Some of you must be already aware, Innovatics Research Labs is one of the leading generative AI data science and full stack development at tech currently in the Indian market. And we provide various different courses to upskill students as well as working professionals in order to get industry ready in generative AI domain, in full stack, Python, Java, and data science, data analytics domain as well. It's not something we do only for students or working professionals. We are also tied up with hundreds of corporates. These corporates, these companies, they directly come to us and they make us deliver sessions for people who are working in their organization to upskill them in generative AI, data science, and data analytics, full stack development domain as well. And this gives us a lot of expertise and understanding about what is currently going on in the market, because we have been speaking with people who are currently working in the market, and we know what is currently going on when it comes to tech industry. We know what is the current requirement of a company when they start looking for a fresher, or when they start looking for somebody who can work with them in data science, data analytics, generative AI, etc., like all these technical domains. With that, let me try to also let you know that uh, uh, in these sessions, we are not just going to look at the traditional data analytics. We will also see how generative AI is transforming the whole data analytics expertise, and what you should do in 2026, what you should do in order to ensure that your career is safe, what you should do in order to ensure that you become a really good data analytics, and how you can also transform your career with generative AI. I'll try to speak about that also in today's session. One more thing before we proceed and before I see that question in the chat, some ground rules that I want to put here. The first thing that we all need to remember is, let's try to be respectful for each and every single solution shared by anybody. Doesn't matter whether the solution is right or wrong. We all are learners. We all are trying to understand these concepts. Some of us might be able to answer correctly these questions when I discuss. Some of us might not be able to answer them correctly. It doesn't mean that we have to bully somebody or we have to like feel superior. All right, let's be respectful. Let's try to create a respectful environment throughout this session. Second thing, in case if you have any questions, feel free to ask. All right, do not sit idle. Do not sit just by listening to what I have to say. If you have a question, please feel free to ask those questions. And I know some of us might be a little shy asking these questions in the public chat. And for that, I have also activated private chat. You can directly drop a message to me privately in case if you feel that your question has to be answered without taking your name. So in case if you're directly messaging me, most of your messages should come in the public chat. But just in case if you feel that you do not feel comfortable asking questions in front of everyone, you can always drop a message privately to me so that I can take up that particular query without taking your names. All right. Third thing, we will solve multiple questions. And for each question, I want you to solve those questions alongside with me. All right. Some of these questions would be very difficult to solve. Most of these questions would be easy if you can understand the question itself. And in today's discussion, my major agenda is to speak about data analytics and a little bit about generative AI and how generative AI has transformed the domain of data analytics, and how it can also transform or help you transition you into more much better data analyst in the field of data science and generative AI. With that, my name is Kanav Bansal. I work with Innomatics as a CTO, and I have more than a decade of experience in data science, generative AI. When I say generative AI, not decade of experience, I hope you all know generative AI is very new. But coming to AI and traditional machine learning, deep learning, I have been into this field since a decade. And since past 3 to 4 years, I've been actively working with generative AI, advanced agentic AI systems, multi-orchestration systems, building some really good, interesting applications as well in the domain of data science and generative AI. So maybe tomorrow I'll try to speak more about generative AI in more detail. I will also provide you a complete roadmap on how, in case if you are starting today, all right, in case if you are starting today, how you can transition yourself, your career into the data science and generative AI domain as well. But before I get into anything, before I get into the next slide, I want to ask one quick question to from all of you, and I want all of us to answer this question in the public chat itself. Thank you so much, Omkar, for clarifying that. Um, my question to all of you is: how many of you are from BTech background? How many of you are from BTech background? In case if you are from BTech, just say BTech in the chat. In case if you are not from BTech background, just say BCom or BSc or whatever background you have. You please try to mention that in the chat so that I at least have a basic understanding about who my audience is, so that I can speak about various different concepts and various different uh, techniques as per your uh, expertise. Amazing. So mostly people are from bachelor's degree. Some people are also, some students are also from master's degree as well. Uh, Perfect. Perfect. So can we go with the first question? Now that you are from bachelor's degree, or at least you know a little bit of technology, I have a very simple question for all of us. And I want to see with this question, like how many of you can start thinking from a real-time perspective, as well as how many of you can use your analytical skill sets in order to solve this problem. Are we all ready? So we have some working professionals as well. Welcome to the session. I hope I'll be able to answer your questions and make you understand some of these data science generative AI related concepts as well. Amazing. So first question in front of you. It's a very, very simple question. Very simple question. Just try to focus on each and every single line. Please do not directly just look at these figures. Let's try to look at the question, read each and every single line in the question. Let's assume that you are getting an admission in a college. All right. Let's say you are applying for some degree college. It can be a bachelor's degree or it can be a master's degree, doesn't matter. And you have an offer letter from two colleges to take admissions in either of these two. You have to decide which college to choose. All right. But before you select any college, the most important metric every Indian student look at is what will be my salary after completing my course, right? Paisa kitna milega, right? So this will be a typical question or metric that will always be there in our mind before we choose a college. And typically what we look at whenever we take admissions into the colleges is we look at something called as on an average, how much are the people earning? Because average salary, a very good question from Omkar. Average salary, give me a quick understanding of on an average how much are the students from this college earning after completing their graduation, right? Now, looking at these two numbers, what is your gut feeling? What do you think is your gut feeling? Like, which college will you choose for taking admission? Yes. So a very interesting thing from Nishtha. College number two. Yes, from a very high level, it looks like instead of college number one, we should take admission in college number two. Why? Because in college number two, if you take an admission from this statistic, you are able to see that college number two will be able to provide you three times more salary than college number one, right? On an average, looks like college number two is going to provide you three times more salary than college number one. But the question is it really true? What if I show you? Omkar asked this question before, and few other people also asked this question before. What if I show you other statistics, right? This is a statistic. Everybody knows about this, right? Everybody knows that this is a statistic. Average is called as a mathematical measure of like it's a statistical mathematical measure. And how do we compute average? Is there anybody who knows the formula to compute average or mean? Is there anybody who can help me understand what can be the formula to compute average or mean? Yes, correct, Samuel. So we take sum of all the observations, right? Divided by total number of observations. Now the question is, what if I show you these observations? Will your decision change or will your decision remain the same? Let me try to see if it changes or if it remains the same. Let me, in the next slide, show you the observations itself. When I say observations. What do I mean by that? Let me try to show you the real data itself. You see this? This is the data of 5 students. Let's assume that college number 1 and college number 2, they both have 5 students. All right. This is a small example. Just wanted to give you a clarity about something very interesting, a very interesting observation here. There are 5 students in these 2 colleges. All right. 5 students each. Now look at the salary each of these 5 students has received after completing their graduation versus the salary college number 2 students are receiving after completing their graduation. Yes. Now, looking at this data, see, I'm not showing you the statistics again. I'm showing you the raw data. All right. Given this raw data, is your decision still the same? Look at this raw data and tell me if you still want to take admission in college number 1, college number 2. Most likely you will say no, right? Why? Maybe because looks like majority of the students in college number 2, what do you see? Majority of the students in college number 2, they are not getting 19.5 average salary package. Their average salary package is very, very low. You know, there is a statistical term we call this kind of a value. You see, this value is extreme compared to rest of the values in the data set. What do we call this extreme value? We typically call this extreme value as an outlier. Are you all getting this idea? Right? And what has happened? Earlier, I showed you a statistic. What was that statistic? That statistic was mean. Mean is a statistic that gets corrupted in case if there are noisy data points in your data set. Is this conclusion giving a little bit of clarity to all of us? What I'm saying is the statistic called as mean gets corrupted. It gets corrupted in the presence of noise. And when I say noise can be missing values, noise can be outliers. Outliers means extreme values. And this brings us to a very important conclusion. What is that conclusion? Whenever you work on a data set, always remember to perform something called as data cleaning. Without data cleaning, if you try to draw some conclusions, your conclusions are going to be corrupted. Your conclusions are going to have a lot of errors, or in statistical terms, we call them as biased conclusions. All right, we call them as biased conclusions. Do you want to make a biased conclusion? Do you want to make an conclusion with error, or do you want to take a decision which will not impact, even though there exists any noise in the data set? What do you think about that? Do you want to make biased decisions, or do you want to make unbiased decisions? What kind of a decision do you care about more? Unbiased decisions, right? Perfect. Now, as Sarag has pointed clearly, there are many other statistical measures, isn't it? There are many other statistical measures. Do you know that there exists something called as median as well? Before we look into mean or median, let me try to show you something interesting here. In order to compute the average salary, the formula will look something like this: 5 plus 8 plus 7 plus 5 plus 5.5. Can somebody help me understand what should I divide this with? What should I divide this with? Should I divide it with 6 or should I divide it by 7? Neither. I should divide it by 5. And the value, if you try to perform this computation, the average value will come out to be 6.1. All right. Similarly, let me perform the same operation here of computing the average. 1.5 plus 3 plus 2.5 plus 3.5 plus 85 divided by 5 again. And this will also conclude to 19.1 LPA. If you want to verify, you can perform this on a calculator and try to verify whether it is correct average value or not. Most likely you will get the same average values. Now, what are we saying? In order to fix the problem that we just saw, what was the problem? We tried calculating something called as an average here. We tried calculating something called as an average here as well. But the problem is Average is a statistical measure which typically gets corrupted in the presence of outlier. Do we have any other alternative to average? The answer to that is yes. As many of us has already pointed out, there exists something called as mean and median. Median is an alternative for calculating the average value. Median is the alternative for calculating the average value. And median also works even if there exists noise in the data set. Let me prove it to you. Can somebody tell me how do we calculate median? Can somebody quickly tell me how do we calculate median? What is the formula to calculate, or how do we typically calculate median? What is a median? Median is a middle value. Amazing. Median is a middle value. Now look at this data and tell me what is the middle value of this data. As Sakshi has clearly mentioned, median is a middle value. Look at this data. Tell me what is the middle value or median of this data. Yashraj has an idea. Yes, you guys are going in the right direction. Raja has a correct idea. Yes, I absolutely agree with you, Raja. Yes, correct, Tejas. See, there is a small typo here. Median definitely represents middle value, but middle value only if the data is sorted. You have to always ensure that the data is in sorted format, and then only you calculate or you look at the middle value. You can't directly look at the middle value without sorting the data. My question to you is this data sorted? Is the college one data looking like sorted data to you? No. Yes, we have to arrange the data in ascending or descending order. Let's try to do that. As Megha has correctly pointed out, let's first try to put the data into ascending or descending order. What is the ascending order of this data? 5. Another lowest value is 5. Another value in this order is 5.5. If we keep going, we have 7 and we have finally 8. Now look at the data and tell me what is the middle value. The middle value of this data is 5.5. And this is what your average will be versus 5.5. Let's try to compute the average for this data as well. Look at this data and tell me what do you think is the average of this data for college number 2 now. Look at the college number 2 data and tell me what is the average of college number 2. How do we calculate? We first try to sort the data into ascending order. Let's try to put the data into ascending order. The first smallest value is 2.5. The next value is 3. The next value is 3.5. And we also have 1.5, which is even smaller than 2.5. And finally, we have 85, right? And what is my middle value? Middle value is 3. Now, do you agree that this statistic about college number 1 and college number 2 was provided when I applied something called as mean? On the other hand, this is a statistic when I applied median. This is the average value when I applied median. Which one is looking more realistic as per the data provided to you? Which one is looking more realistic as per the data? Or what is the reality as per the data? Is mean the reality or median the reality as per the data? Median, yeah, right? So median is the reality, is giving the reality or is giving the correct value of average. Whereas median is getting inflated. Median is getting inflated in case if there exists any outlier in the data. How many of you are able to find this as a very interesting concept? I hope some of you must have heard this concept for the first time. And are also able to understand that this is the reason why we study in schools and colleges, why median and mean both, right? Median and mean, they both do the same thing, but we should know where to apply mean and where should we apply median. All right, very, very important from the interview perspective. You should always know about this. It's a fundamental foundational concept without which a lot of stuff in statistics doesn't work. Now, one more thing. Let me ask you another interesting interview question. Are we all ready? If we all are ready, either drop an emoji or just say yes in the chat section. I would also strongly suggest you to use emojis. They make the sessions really interesting. Amazing. Thank you so much, Priyanka. What about others? All right. So my question to you is, why did median work? Why did median work? What do you think is the reason why median worked? Yes, we apply median in case if there are outliers in the data, but the question is, why did median works? Median work. Yes, correct, Aditi. Average included outlier value. If you can see the formula for average, what we are doing, we are trying to consider each value. We are taking the sum. This numerator contains the, it contains in the numerator, it contains the outlier value, right? And since we are including outlier into the computation, mean is getting corrupted. But what is happening in case of median? Look at this. Do you remember the step number one? In median, step number one was to arrange the data either in sorted order or in the sorted ascending order or descending order. What will be the benefit of putting the data into sorted ascending, descending order? Either ascending or descending order. What is the benefit of doing that? Do you agree that as soon as we sort the data, all the extreme values are going to be collected on the extreme ends of this data, of this statement, right? All the extreme values, all the highly like values which are very high, and also the values which are very low, they all will be accumulated on the extreme edge, of this particular sorted sequence. The same thing will happen here as well. The same thing will happen over here as well. Sorting has prevented us from getting corrupted decisions or from getting inconsistent, biased decision. Because we sorted the data and then we looked into the middle value. After sorting the data, we looked into the middle value. Because we did that process, the median, because median does that process, median doesn't get corrupted in the presence of outliers. Is the definition of median clear to all of us, and also why median works is also clear to all of us? Median works because of this sorting we perform. We do not directly point finger at the middle value. We do not directly point the finger at the middle value. We first sort the data. Sorting helps us get rid of all the outliers. And then after sorting the data, we look at what is the middle value in my data. Got it? Any questions? Now let me try to show you what has happened so far. I wanted to make a decision, right? I wanted to make a decision. What is your decision by looking at this entire analysis? Can somebody tell me what is the decision? Which college will you take admission in by looking at this entire analysis? College number one, obviously, right? Definitely college number one. Maybe, maybe the actual package of this person was maybe, I don't know, it can happen. Maybe the actual package of this person is 8.5, but because of human data entry, the package, they forgot, or maybe they miscorrectly entered the value as a 85 LPA. That can happen, right? Or maybe the student who was able to get 85 LPA package, maybe this student got this package not because of college, maybe because his father worked in Microsoft, or maybe he has some reference in some good company from where he was able to get the job opportunity. Are you getting it? Right? Because we can see clearly that majority of the college is not able to get a really good package. Only one single student was able to get a good package, and we cannot make our decisions just in the view of a single data point, right? We have to look at majority of the data point, and based upon that, we have to make our decision. So my decision by looking at this is take admission in college number one. That is correct. Can you tell me how did I concluded, or how did I come to this decision? What made me to come to this decision? Let's do some reverse engineering. All right. What made me come up with this decision? Do you agree? In order to come to this decision, I did some analysis. Can you tell me what kind of analysis did I apply? What kind of analysis did I apply? I applied mean computation. I applied median computation. Is this part clear to all of us? Is this part clear to all of us? Yes or no? Amazing. Before this, what we did we was there any other step before applying analysis? We have to also do something called as collection of data. And maybe in most of the cases, you have to gather the data. And maybe in most of the cases, you will also do something called as data cleaning. Right? So in any data analytics pipeline, these are majorly the steps that you should always perform. Please make a note somewhere if possible. The step number one, let me try to rearrange this entire thing in this order. Step number one, step number two, and step number three. Always remember that without step number three, your analysis will never be concluded. Let me try to put everything in a proper step. The step number one of any data analytics pipeline is to collect the data. After collecting the data, either you collect the data or the data will be provided to you. In case if the data is provided to you, you will definitely save yourself from a lot of pain of collecting the data yourself. Second step, or second thing you should also do is, after collecting the data, you should also always ensure that you clean the data. After collecting the data and cleaning the data, what do you do next? You try to analyze the data. And what helps you do the data analysis? Look at this and tell me what helps you do the data analysis. Will Python programming help you do data analysis, or will foundational statistical knowledge help you do data analysis? Tell me, what allows you to do better data analysis? Will Python knowledge, what help me do data analysis in this slide? Did Python allow me to do the data analysis? Did I use Python anywhere? No, I didn't use Python anywhere. I just used my foundational statistical knowledge in order to understand that mean can be corrupted. Let me try to instead use median. I hope you are able to understand why mathematics plays a vital role in any data science, generative AI, data analytics skill set. Without good mathematical knowledge, a lot of people, they directly start uh, calling themselves as data analytics as soon as analysts, as soon as they learn Python. That is never there. Python is secondary. First, your mathematics should be strong enough in order to call yourself as a data analyst. You should be really very, very comfortable with mathematics. And under mathematics, what are the two major subjects you should master? You should master something called as statistics in mathematics, and there is something called as probability. These two mathematical domains allows you to become very good at data analysis. And see, do you agree that we all knew that there existed mean and median? How many of you can agree to this point that we all knew mean and median exists? But how many of you, I think hardly 50% of us knew what is the actual utility of median over mean, right? So you should not just know mean and median. As a person who is appearing for interviews, you should actually know how to utilize things for in the real time. All right. And that separates you from the rest of the crowd. That makes you the top 1%, 1% of the people who are actually applying for the job. This is what is going to impress the interviewer, not just blabbering the formulas for mean and median. If you know how to use these things in the real time, this is what impresses the interviewer. Now, the last question is, in case if you want to do analysis can be done using something called as statistics. And statistics comes in two different flavors. One is visual statistics. visual statistics, and another is non-visual statistics. The statistics which I performed in front of you, mean, median calculation, and maybe I could have also calculated standard deviation, mode, and many other statistical values. All of this comes under non-visual statistics. Apart from non-visual statistics, we also have something called as visual statistics, or plotting graphs, charts on the data set in order to uncover hidden patterns. All right. We also do a lot of visualizations on the data to understand how the data is distributed and to also identify what are various different patterns hidden within the data. All right. So this is also something which is very popular. And remember, after performing analysis, is your job done? Is your job done after performing analysis, or is there something else as well that has to be done? You also should be able to take decisions and generate insights. And this is what makes you, yes, you need to conclude, correct, Soumya? You need to conclude. Without concluding, without conclusions, you cannot simply call yourself as a data analyst. And this is the day-to-day activity a data analyst does on a regular basis. Is this part clear to all of us? Is this part clear to all of us? If yes, can you please quickly drop an acknowledgement in the chat section? Amazing. But do you know that doing this entire thing is getting simplified nowadays? How many of you have heard about generative AI is killing a lot of jobs in the current times? A lot of people will lose jobs just because of generative AI. Let me try to show you something scary. Maybe it will definitely give you a goosebump moment. But let me try to show you something very interesting. I'll do one thing. I'll try to stop sharing the screen here and take you to my desktop. All right. I'll stop sharing screen here. Let me know when you can see my desktop. Um, Let me know when you can see the desktop. Is my desktop visible to all of you? Is it visible to all of you? Amazing. I will click on this particular icon on my desktop. Anybody knows what this icon is? This icon on my desktop. Can somebody tell me what is this icon? Have you ever used something like this on your system? Yes, it's a Claude desktop app. Yes, it's a Claude desktop app, just like ChatGPT, just like Gemini. We also have another company called as Anthropic, and Anthropic has this Claude desktop app. What I'll do in this app, let me show you what I'll do in this app. I'll just quickly click on this app. Confirm if you can see my Claude desktop screen. Quickly confirm if you can see my Claude desktop screen. Yes, you can see the screen, right? Amazing. Now, what I'll do on this Claude desktop is I'll try to take a data set and I'll try to ask Claude desktop to do data analysis for me. Are you all ready to see that? Are you all ready to see that? Let's try to see how good Claude desktop is in order to in this process of performing data analysis, at least for time being, at least to understand like what is really going on in the market, so that you know what you are competing with or what you have to actually do in order to become a good data analyst. Let me click on this plus icon. If I have to do data analysis, how many of you agree? The first thing is collect the data and maybe perform data cleaning. Second step is data analysis. And the third step is decision making, right? So the first step, which was data collection, I already have collected the data. Let me click on this plus icon. In this plus icon, I will see this option called as add files or photos. Let me click on that. And once I click on this, I will be able to see the screen where I can safely select this data set. By looking at this data set and on the screen, can you tell me how big is this data set? What is the size of this file on my computer? What is the size of this file on my computer? Do you see a number anywhere? 23.7 MBs. And can you tell me what kind of a data set do I have here inside this file? Is it a text file? Is it a CSV file? Or is it an Excel sheet? What kind of a sheet do you think is this? It's a tabular sheet, correct, Abhishek? And the second thing is it is an Excel sheet, right? It's not a CSV file. A CSV file will have an extension .csv, whereas an Excel sheet, Microsoft Excel sheet, is going to have an extension .xlsx. Let me select this file. Let me select this file. As you can see, this file has been loaded. What I'll do next is, can somebody tell me what should I do next? I've also selected an application inside Claude called as Cowork. You must be already aware of chat, but let me try to show you what Cowork is capable of doing. All right. There is something called as Claude Chat. There is something called as Claude Cowork. I can guarantee that most of us might have either never heard of Cowork or might have never seen what Cowork can actually do. Let me show you what it is capable of doing. All right. What will I do next? I have to give a prompt. Very good. What is a prompt? Can somebody tell me the definition of prompt? Can somebody tell me the definition of prompt? Input to what? Very good. It's an input, but what input? Yes, it's a set of instructions. But instruction to what? Instruction to what? Input to what? Input to do a task. But to whom am I asking? To whom am I going to give this instruction? Yes, to a model. Which model? Can somebody, by looking at the screen, tell me which model is selected under this Claude? Which large language model did I select or is automatically selected inside this Claude desktop? If you look at it carefully, do you see this Opus written on the right-hand side? You see that? Opus 4.8. If I click on this drop-down button, I can see other models from Anthropic company as well. Claude is not the name of model. These are the 4 popular models from this company, Anthropic Claude. All right. What are the 4 popular large language models from this company? One of the most popular model right now in the market is Fable. Another popular model is Opus. And then there is something called as Sonnet. And finally, there is something called as Haiku. Before I proceed, I just quickly some internet issue on my side. Can somebody confirm if my voice is audible? Yes. Can you please tell me where did I, what was the last thing you heard from my side? Models. All right. Prompt and the models. All right. Let me share the screen again. Yes, I'll share the screen again. Hope you can see the screen now. I'll go back on this screen, which I displayed before. Yes, Opus model. Apart from Opus model, do you see the list of other models as well? How many total models do you see in this list? There are total 4 models available in this list. The most popular model right now in the market is Fable 5. Then there is something called as Opus 4.4, 4.8. Then there is something called as Sonnet. And the smallest model from Anthropic Claude is something called as Haiku. Hope my voice is clear now. And you are able to see the screen as well. Amazing. Are you all getting interested with this discussion? Are you excited to see what is going to be uncovered when we ask Claude to perform this operation? Amazing. Let's see that now. Now, as I mentioned before, I have to provide a prompt. But do you know that there exists something called as prompt engineering? Do you know that there exists something called as prompt engineering? Prompt engineering is a subject which speaks about writing good prompts. All right. If you do not write a good prompt, the output of your model is going to be poor. The output of or the response given by the system is going to be poor. All right. So um, the whole idea of prompt engineering is to simply write good English prompts so that model can understand what it has to do rather than just guessing stuff to do. In order to perform this operation, I've already prepared a prompt. I didn't execute it yet. I'll just show you how that prompt looks like. This is the whole prompt. Just look at the size of this prompt. I can guarantee most of us will never write a prompt which is this long. And in order to write a prompt like this, you need to have a really good data analytics knowledge. You need to have a really good statistical knowledge, without which writing this high quality prompt will always be very difficult for you. You see this? Right? Let me just take this entire prompt, copy this from here, and put it inside this particular chat section so that it can start doing its magic right away. One thing to note here is I've already loaded the Excel file. I've also provided this entire prompt, right? This is the whole bulky prompt I've already provided. And I've also selected something called as Cowork here, rather than a regular chat in which you typically on a regular basis use ChatGPT or Gemini. Instead of that, I'm trying to use something called as Cowork. What is Cowork? A very good question. Cowork is just like an employee working under you. I've given this task to Cowork. Cowork will start performing this operation for me, and it will also do changes on my computer. Now, see, I've asked Cowork to create a report. Just like maybe my manager will ask me to create a report, I've also asked Cowork to create a report, and that report will be stored inside a document on a computer, on my computer. Let's see what happens. Definitely, it will take a lot of time. It's not like you say hi and you get the response from the chat GPT. It will definitely take a lot of time. Let me try to click on this button and see the magic happening. It is saying we are preparing the session. On the right-hand side, you can see few things moving, right? There is this progress section. Let's see what happens. In a few seconds, progress is going to be populated with subtasks. Let's wait for that to happen. Yes, I can share the prompt with you. It doesn't allow me to paste a prompt like this. What I'll do instead, I'll try to share the file instead of the prompt so that it will be easier. Maybe I'll try to share it as a training material after the session gets completed. Will that be fine? I will share this entire prompt as a teaching material after the whole session gets completed. NLP-based prompt to understand easily system and response. Yes, correct. That's correct. I'm not sure what your name is, but I'll call you Powerhouse. And if you can see, we have list of tasks listed over here. It says first I'll try to run the analysis pipeline. Then it says that I'll try to perform something called as generating all charts. After generating all the charts, it speaks about building a polished document report. And then finally, it will report and deliver this document for us. Okay, Prithvi, thank you so much for sharing that information. Yes, And I think somebody asked for the prompt as well. Vasanti will share the prompt after the session gets completed. All right. Very good question, Omkar. So how do I create my prompt? I typically use meta prompting techniques in order to create my prompt. We'll share some documentations related to that after the session gets completed so that you can follow that along. All right. Now, instead of waiting here, can I proceed with my session and maybe come back in 5 to 10 minutes and see the result from cowork? Will that be fine? Will that be fine? So we'll come back to this page to see the work done by this chat window. As of now, if you can see, it has already identified that there exist 5,41,909 data points inside the data set. And it has already started understanding the instructions given, and it started working on few things. For example, it is running some commands for me. There is a bash command running currently. We'll come back in a moment and see the results are delivered by this Claude cowork for us. In the meantime, let me try to go back and try to do something else. Let me share on the screen. Can you please confirm if the screen is visible now? Not visible. All right, let me share the screen again. All right. Thank you, Santosh. Let me share the screen again. Yeah, I hope it will be visible now. All right. Let me just give me a second. I'll just quickly resize the screen so that yes. So Manas is asking a very good question. Can you tell me about the hallucinations in the model? Is it still an issue in the new models? See, hallucination is something you cannot control. Hallucination, we'll discuss in more detail about this tomorrow, Manas. But hallucination is by choice over there. If you do not see, all the large language models are typically text generation models. And if they have to generate text effectively, and this is the actual goal they typically will have. They will have a goal of generating the high quality text. And in order to achieve that goal, they sometimes hallucinate. They sometimes provide factual, like incorrect information with full confidence. And that is called as actually hallucinations, right? So we will discuss in more detail about this tomorrow and maybe look at some questions, interesting questions around it. The problem is not the hallucination. We have to actually think about how do we control if in case model hallucinates. The question is how do we control the hallucination? And in order to control hallucination, we have various techniques available. Like RAG is one of the very powerful technique to control hallucination, right? Agentic systems, context engineering are various approaches that we typically use in order to control hallucinations. And we'll see some of these things tomorrow. I'll try to demonstrate few of these concepts tomorrow so that you have some more understanding about the concepts in generative AI. What that actually means will make more sense tomorrow. For today, let's try to focus on data analytics and data analyst role or topics. Now, if you can see on the screen, is anybody aware of this code? Or by looking at this code, can you please tell me what is happening? Just look at this part. I'm creating a line, I'm drawing a line. Look at or focus on only the top part of this line, only these 4 to 5 lines of code, and tell me what is happening in this implementation. Finding mean or median in an array. Do you see that this array looks familiar? This array looks familiar. When I say familiar, this is college one data, isn't it? This looks like college one data. What I did in this code implementation is I created college one data, represented this entire data as an array. After creating this array, I'm trying to pass this array to a method available in Python NumPy library called as NumPy. Please calculate mean for me. Mean for which data? For college one data. Again, I'm trying to ask NumPy to calculate median for me for which data? College one data. And you can see clearly the college one mean is 6.1, whereas the median comes out to be 5.5, what we have already calculated before. Similarly, if I look into college two data, I can clearly see that mean of college two is 19.1, whereas median comes out to be 3.0. This is how in Python programming you typically perform various data analysis or various operations. Non-statistical, non-visual operations can be done in Python using something called as pandas and NumPy library in Python. How many of you are familiar with Python programming or at least know the basics of Python programming language? I believe that most of us might be at least aware of basics of Python programming language. Amazing. Perfect. Perfect. Now, this brings me to the next part of this session. All right. But before going to the next part of this session, I think it would be a good idea for us to mark our attendance as well. I'll just quickly show a QR code and take 1 minute break, exactly 60-second break. I will allow you to fill your attendance so that you can claim your certificate after completion of this workshop as well. All right. So both the days you should be able to mark the attendance. Otherwise, you will not get the certificate. As mentioned before, please ensure that you scan this QR code and quickly fill the form to mark your attendance. You have exactly 60 seconds for this. Okay, Akshara says that she knows Python. Soumya says familiar with Python. Sai Kiran is also familiar. Looks like a lot of us are familiar. Basic only. I'm not asking you to have a really good software engineering level Python programming knowledge. 30 more seconds left for us to mark the attendance. I request all of us to quickly mark the attendance. Let me know once you are done marking your attendance so that I can move on to the next slide. That's okay, Vasanthi. You can mark it as others if like 2023 or maybe the year specified as per your education qualification is not available. Maybe Claude has finished the analysis. It didn't finish the analysis yet. I just checked it. So it is still going on. It is creating the report for us. It is performing the last step, creating the report, a document report, a documented report for us. All right. So meanwhile, let's try to do another interesting thing. Now that all of us are comfortable with Python or at least know basics of Python, are you all able to see the problem statement number one? Are you all able to see problem statement number one? Can you, by looking at this problem statement, tell me what will be the output of this program if I run this? Is it going to throw an error? Is it correct Python syntax, first of all? No. Yes. Looks like this is not a correct Python syntax. Can you please help me correct this Python syntax? Can you tell me how do I write the line number one? How do I write this line number one? A equal to 10. Perfect. A equal to 10 is the right way. Should I put a semicolon at the end? Should I put the semicolon at the end? No. Perfect. What is the second line? What should be the next line? What should I do? Tell me, how do I represent? Is this correct line? Like, can I do something like this in Python? Correct. Suleiman has a really interesting response. Bhupendra has a really good response. All right. Let's try to do it. So I'll simply say print. And then after print, I will say user has entered. User has entered, maybe something like this. Hey, let's try to click on the run button and see what happens. As soon as I click on run button, it displays the same string which I've kept over here. Please note that putting a semicolon is not a mistake in Python. All right. Please note that putting a semicolon is not a mistake in Python. Python allows you to use semicolons as well. Semicolon represents the end of the line. If I put a semicolon here, it doesn't impact my program. Let me click on run button and again and see if it throws an error or not. If I click on run button again, it executes successfully without throwing an error. Just to prove that it is working, let me try to replace 10 with 11 and click on run button again. When I click on run button, the message updates to user has entered 11 instead of 10. Now, the question is, what about this syntax? Let me try to change this syntax a little bit more. All right. Rather than giving the string and variable separately, let me try to put this variable inside this string itself. Can you guess what will be the output in case if I try to run this cell now? What do you think will be the output? What will be the output? No number, correct? Yes, user has entered A. Looks like everybody is an expert in Python. Let me click on run button. It says user has entered A. Now, in order to treat A as a variable, you know what we can do? We can put this A inside curly brackets. In order to put A, or in order to treat A as a variable, I can put A inside the curly bracket. And outside this string, I can mention it as formatted string rather than a regular string. As soon as I do this, just see what happens. I get the same response. User has entered 11 instead of user has entered 8. You know, even this syntax is absolutely correct as per Python 3.10 or above. Even if I click on run button, there is no error generated. Even though we know Python is dynamically typed. What is the meaning of dynamically typed? We all know Python is dynamically typed programming language. What is the meaning of dynamically typed? You do not need to mention the type of A. You do not need to mention the type of variables you are declaring. But do you see this syntax? This is a very popular syntax as something which is gaining a lot of popularity. In case if you go for an interview and you write a syntax like this, definitely interviewer is going to be impressed. So that is the reason why I have kept this syntax in front of you. See, it is exactly the same thing. We are declaring a variable. After declaring a variable, we are trying to print that variable. The only difference is I'm carefully also initializing this variable by providing a type annotation. Please note that still Python is dynamically typed. It doesn't change the fact that Python is dynamically typed. What it does is, what this syntax does is, this syntax simply provides something called as type annotation. It is not type assignment. See the difference. It is not type assignment, not type assignment. It is just annotating that A is going to be of integer type. It doesn't imply that A has to be mandatorily of this type. All right. In order to prove that, can I put instead of A, can I put inomatics here? Can you guess the output? Can somebody guess the output? Is it going to throw an error? Or is it going to run successfully? Look at this. What did I tell you? I told you that A as integer represented like this is a type annotation. Is it type assignment or is it just type annotation? This is only type annotation. It is not type assignment. If it is not type assignment, A is, we are just giving a hint that A should be integer. We are not defining that A should always be an integer. This is not making the A as mandatorily integer. It is just giving a hint that A has to be, it's better to keep A as integer. Let me try to run this and see what happens. As per my explanation, A should take inomatics value without throwing any error, and it should generate a response saying that user has entered inomatics instead of user has entered maybe throwing an error. How many of you are able to understand this? What I'm saying again, this syntax, see, this is the only extra thing I've added. This is type annotation. This is not type assignment. When I say type assignment, we are not making it mandatory for A to be integer. We are just giving a hint that A has to be integer. But since it's a hint and not an assignment, A is going to still take inomatics as a input. Can you tell me what will happen if I try to print type of A? Can you tell me what data is stored inside A? Right now, what data is stored inside A? Is it 10? Is it 11? Or is it inomatics? What data is stored inside A? A has inomatics. What is the type of inomatics? The type of inomatics is string. So if I try to run this, it will display me that A is of string type. All right, this concept is called as type annotation. Please try to start writing code with type annotations. It will definitely make you look like an experienced programmer rather than a fresher. Is this clear to all of us? If yes, I want you to rate your understanding on this concept on a scale of 1 to 5. Can you please quickly rate your understanding on a scale of 1 to 5? 5 means you are able to understand it clearly. 1 means you are not able to understand even a single thing I'm speaking. Are we all comfortable understanding these concepts? Amazing. Perfect. 5.5. Okay, nice. All right. So now let's try to have a look at very, very interesting question. This problem statement number 2 is going to really make you think twice before you answer this question. Look at this. Tell me, first of all, whether it is a regular Python function or a Python function with type annotations. First, you answer that question. Is it a regular Python function or is it a function with type annotations? This is a function with type annotation. Let me show you what you will write instead. In a regular function, you will write it like this. Define function, you will say A equal to 0 and B. Then you will put a colon and then you will say return A into B. This is a regular function, whereas this is type annotated function. Do you see all the variables? all the variables are having the same syntax. What is the syntax of type annotation? Put the variable name. The syntax is put the variable name, put a colon just after variable name, and then put the type. All right. This is the syntax you have to follow whenever you are giving the type annotation. Variable name. Do you see variable name is A? Put a colon, and then after putting a colon, you mention the type of that variable. In case if you want to assign some default value, you can simply say equal to 10, equal to 20, equal to whatever you want. This is the only extra thing you are putting here inside the type annotation. Is this syntax and this syntax clear to all of us now? If this is clear, can you tell me what do you think this is? This is also something new, right? Yes, correct, Tejas. This is the return type of a method. What we are saying is, we are saying function takes how many arguments? Function takes two arguments. One is A, another is B. Type of A should be integer, not mandatory. Type of B should be integer, again, not mandatory. And what is the return output from function? Function should return a value which is also supposed to be an integer. We are saying function should return an integer. And to do that, you have this syntax, which is completely, totally valid in Python. Now, given that we understood the syntax, tell me what will happen if I try to run this program. If I try to run this program, print function 5, 6, what do you think will happen if I run this program? 6, 5 or 5, 6, what should it return in Python? This is a very popular interview question. Please make a note of this question somewhere. Yes, Raja, as Raja has clearly mentioned, this is going to throw an error. Is there anybody else who is able to identify why is it going to throw an error? Correct, Lovely. This is going to throw an error. What about others? Are you able to identify the issue? Let me run this program and show you the error. You know, another interview question can be, if let's say you are able to identify there is an error, interviewer is going to ask, can you tell me what kind of an error? What kind of an error will come? Are you going to have a zero division error, or are you going to have maybe a syntax error? Is it going to be an exception, or is it going to be a syntax error? Interviewer might ask that kind of a question as well. Yes, there will be a syntax error here. All right, remember this. It is going to generate a syntax error. Let me run this program and show you the error. When I hit enter, it executes and throws this error at me. The error type is syntax error. Let me run this program as well. It's the same program, but with type annotations, it also throws the same problem called a syntax error. What kind of a syntax error? You can clearly see that in case if you are providing arguments to a function definition, this is my function definition. How many arguments am I passing? I'm passing 2 arguments. Out of these 2 arguments, how many arguments are taking default value? Can you please look at this and tell me which variable is taking a default value? If which variable is taking a default value? A is taking a default value. Please note, please make a note somewhere that if you are providing a default arguments, default argument should always be listed at the end, not at the beginning. Are you getting it? Default arguments should always be listed at the end, not at the beginning of the function definition. How many of you are able to understand this? This is a Python syntax you have to always remember. All right. Since it's a syntax error, you should remember this fact that in case if you are defining a function in Python, you should never provide a default argument as the first argument. You have to move this. You have to move this towards the end. Now tell me what will happen if I move it towards the end. What do you expect as an output now? Correct, Lovely. You should write b comma a equal to 0. Now what do you expect as an output? As the error suggested, that default argument, like parameter without default, follows a parameter with default, right? It should not happen, so I reversed it. Now if I reverse, is going to go inside which variable? Tell me. When I call this function, 5 will go inside which variable? 5 is going to go inside B, 6 is going to go inside A, right? And 5 into 6 will become, or 6 into 5 will become 30. Let me click on run button. You will see a 30 over here. Hope you are able to learn something new today. I hope we all are able to learn something interesting today, right? See, it's a very simple thing, but if you do not have a basic understanding about how Python works, there are so many things in Python. Let me show you another example, another very interesting thing. Take this example and ask your friends tomorrow, maybe when you go to the college or maybe when you speak to your friends. I can guarantee most of your friends, maybe the most intelligent friends, are going to get confused why something like this is not working. Let me try to scroll to the next question. Let me fix this as well. I'll just move this. Can you please give me the syntax here? I don't want to write the syntax myself. I want you to write the syntax. Tell me what should I change here, or how should I write this program? Whatever I have highlighted, what should I do in order to fix this program? How should I fix this program? Inside the function, inside these brackets, what should I write? Think about. Yes, correct, lovely. What about others? Achal, there is a small mistake. Just try to see the response from lovely. I think you will be able to identify. We just need to move this. We just need to move this forward, right? We just need to move this argument forward, and then the default argument should come. Let me now try to run this again. If I run this again, I get the same response. Correct, Nikhil. So if possible, take a screenshot of this. I would suggest you to take a screenshot of this so that you always remember that Python requires all the parameters. See, all the parameters without default. See, this parameter is without default value. This parameter or appear before should come before the parameter with default values. This parameter is with default value, it should come after, and all the parameters without default value should come before. Now, let's see one of the very, very interesting question. I Is my voice audible? I think there is some internet issue on my side because of which the meeting is getting disconnected. I'm so sorry about this trouble. Maybe in tomorrow's session, I'll definitely ensure that I have a better internet connectivity. Today, because of my travel, I think this is happening. But anyhow, let me share my screen again and show you that question, which is definitely going to start asking this question, do I really know Python or not? Because see, trust me, when I saw this question for the first time, when I encountered this error first time in the production, in the real-time system, I was completely confused myself. This happened almost a decade before. but I just wanted to share this experience with you. And it's a very, very interesting and very important interview question as well at the same time. The question states something like this. Can you tell me how many arguments, what is the name of function, first of all? What is the name of function here? Look at the function and tell me what is the name of function. Insert. How many arguments does it take? How many arguments does it take? It takes two arguments. Amazing. Perfect. Out of these two arguments, how many are default arguments and how many are not having any default value? Is there any default argument? If yes, can you tell me which argument is a default argument? One argument is a default argument, and the argument name is LST. Amazing. Can you help me convert this method now into the type annotated method? The first question I want you to do is, the first problem I want you to solve is, can you convert this into a type annotated method? Can you convert this into a type annotated method? What is the type of integer? Yes, we want. Correct, Bhupendra. Very good. So I'll keep it as integer. And what about LST? LST is of data type list. Python has a data type called as list, and LST is of that type. We are simply keeping it in that way. And what is the return type of this method? The return type of this method, we typically use this arrow, and then we mention the return type as list. Correct, Aditi? Yes, amazing. Hope we all are now able to comfortably understand how to write the type annotations. The only thing for us to answer is, what will happen if I insert? What is the output of this print statement? Let's first go with this print statement, and then we will go with the next print statement. Let's go with the first print statement. What is the output of this print statement? Anyone? Perfect. The first print statement is going to generate 1 as an output. Let me comment this. Let me put this in comment and try to run this and see if it works or not. If I run this, looks like my first print statement is running as per my expectation. All right. What are we doing? We are simply taking the user response. User response is item. And after taking the user response, I'm trying to append that item inside this list. Correct? Now, what will happen if I try to uncomment this? If I run this, what do you think should happen? What will be the response now? What will be the response now? The response is going to be, is it going to be 2 or is it going to be 1, 2? Amazing. I don't know how, but you correctly answered this question. The response for this is going to be 1, 2. Yes, this versus this. And do you know why? Please, if possible, make a note of this point. Please make a note of this point. Whenever you provide a default argument, see, this is a default argument, right? And is the default argument occurring next to the regular argument without any default value? Yes, this is the right syntax. We have already seen that in the previous example. Whenever we use default argument, and this default argument exists inside this particular method, please remember it is always evaluated only once and only during the function definition time, not during each call. What does it mean? Whatever you are initializing here, it will happen only once. This initialization will happen once, and it will not initialize every single time. It will simply keep on adding to whatever list you have just prepared. And there is a small catch here. There is a small catch here. And what is that catch? That catches. This works only for those data types. This works only for those data types which are mutable. Is list a mutable data type in Python or immutable data type in Python? It's a mutable data type. List is a mutable data type, and this works only for mutable data type. Please make a note. That is one very important thing. Knowing this is important, but apart from this, you should also make a note that the default parameter provided by you should be mutable. If it is not mutable, this property will not work. Is this part clear to all of us? Now, with that clarity, can you tell me what will be the output of this question? Tell me the output of this question. This is very, very important interview question. It is not just asked in service-based companies, but also it is asked in really good startups and product-based companies as well. This question is really very important. Yes, that is correct, Bhupendra. That's why I mentioned mutable data type, right? So, like it happens only for the mutable data types because of that shared reference for mutable data type. But if you try to put a variable like integer variable, just try to put an integer variable. Will it still happen for the integer variable? It will not happen for the integer variable. Integer is an immutable data type. Are you getting it? It happens only for the mutable data type, not for the immutable data type. Now, by looking at this, the first line is going to, yes, amazing. You guys are really doing well. So it will take 5,8 and append 1 to that list. It won't be 1,5,8. It will be 5,8 and then appended 1 to that list. All right. And as I just mentioned, if you are providing a default parameter which is mutable, it will be initialized only once. It will not be initialized every single time. All right. So next time what happens? It will take the same list which was generated in the previous example, in the previous print statement, and it will append to the same list. So output is going to be 5, 8, 1, and the second output is going to be appended to the same list. It will not initialize the list again. Right. So if you see, the output is 5,8.8, 1, and in the next iteration, 5,8, 1, 2. All right. So please ensure that you make a note of this. Now, with this, we come to a very important question. The question is, this question sometimes is going to be used to trick even students by asking this question. The question is, build a counter function using the above concept. You have to create a function that keeps a count of the calls. Maybe something like this. You have to create a function, def counter. All right. Inside this counter function, you have to write a syntax in such a way. Whenever you do something like this, counter, it should print 1. Can you tell me what should happen if I call this method again? What should be the counter's functionality? Counter's functionality should be to return 2. If I call this again, it should return 3, and so on and so forth. This is something I want to implement. Can you help me understand can you think about a syntax that we have to write in order to make this happen? All right. So somebody say return count plus equal to 1. If I do this, what is count? What is count or what is C? Where do I provide the C? This is equivalent for people who are not able to understand this syntax. Let me try to simplify this. Let me try to write it in this way. Count equal to count plus 1, and then you return. Let me break it into 2 lines. All right. So you are asking me to keep count as an integer equivalent to 0 initially. All right. Can somebody tell me what will be the response of this statement? Like if I try to run this, what do you think will happen? What are you expecting? 1, 2, 3 as an output. But in reality, you will get 1, 1, 1 as an output. Integer is not mutable. Integer is immutable data type. How many of you are able to understand this? Can you please again rate your understanding on a scale of 1 to 5? List is a mutable data type. Integer is an immutable data type. This concept doesn't work for immutable data types. People who are rating themselves as 2 and 1 or 3, I want all of you to take a screenshot of this and try to give some time after the session and try to understand this concept a little bit more. All right. It's a very simple thing. Just try to Google search it. You should be able to find some response. And you will be able to definitely understand this concept. This count integer is a immutable data type. The same concept will not work here. Can you tell me which data type will get updated in every call? If I use a list, amazing. So if I try to put something like this and make it a list, will it work now? In order to make it work, I also need to make one more change. I need to do count of 0. I need to say count of 0 should be incremented. And then I need to return what? I need to return count of 0 itself. Workshop certificate form, I will show you the link again, Chandu. Just give me 2 to 3 more minutes. Is this clear to all of us? I just converted that integer to a list. And rather than doing integer operations, I'm trying to do list operations in this example. Let me now click on run button and see what happens. You see, very interesting concept, isn't it? Now you take this concept to any of your friends, uh, any of the experts you know, definitely they will get tripped. Why is this happening? Why is this not happening? Why the counter function is working like this versus in the previous example, the way it has worked. Yes, I will also share the IPython notebook once the session is completed. All right, Anvesh? Wonderful. Let me now come back. Can we go to the Claude? Do you remember we did something in Claude? We gave some work to Claude, right? Do you remember we hired somebody to do some data analysis for us? Let's try to go to Claude and see what has happened over there. Waiting for that. Amazing. Let me just quickly go here. Let me know if you can see something on the screen. What do you see? I didn't touch anything. I left this screen as it is. It did something. I gave that huge prompt the way I showed you before. And this is the response from Claude. Right? And which Claude application did I use? I used Claude Cowork. I didn't use the regular Claude chat, which you use on a regular basis. This Claude Cowork is a paid software. You have to start making payment for this software at least $20 per month in order to get the access to this. And this is what in real-time industry nowadays, people use a lot of time in order to do data analysis and in order to perform various exploratory and business-related analysis. Let me show you what kind of a report it has created for me. It is also asking me to check this report inside a folder. No need to look it into the folder because again, I'm really sorry. I think I lost the internet connection again. Hope you are able to hear me now. I'll share my screen really quick. Go back to that page. Not visible, not audible. I hope it is audible and visible now. Cool. Are you all able to see the report as well? Now, what do you expect in the report? What do you expect in the report? Do you expect the report to only have text, or do you also expect this report to have maybe statistical non? You remember I told you that there are two types of statistical analysis we do: non-numerical statistical analysis as well as visual chart analysis. Correct, Aditi? Do you expect that this application would have done some visual charts for me as well? Do you really expect it to do that? Let's try to find out. Please note, I gave a very good high quality prompt. I didn't uh, I didn't make any like basic uh, assumptions on the prompt by just giving it some anonymous or some regular prompt. I gave a very long, healthy prompt to this system. And given that prompt, this is how the response looks like. See, it's a document, Word document. I can click on this and open in my computer as well. Let me show you that. If I click on this button, see, it opens this file over here. It shows me this file over here, which contains the same report which I'm showing you in this Claude desktop interface. See, it is annotated really well, isn't it? It looks a really good report. It is giving me a complete detail about what kind of fields are there, what are the data types of each field. For example, quantity is an integer, whereas description of a product is a text. Customer ID is also numeric. Similarly, if I scroll down, it is also giving me a lot of other details about the quality of my data. It is giving me a detail on data cleaning methodology it has used. It is saying there are certain invoices it has removed from the database. There are few non-positive quantities which should not be there, which are also removed from the database. See, it is giving me complete data cleaning methodology as well. The way I showed you the basic data analysis, it has done the same thing. It initially took the data. After taking the data, it is performing some data cleaning strategies. After performing data cleaning strategies, then it started doing some analysis, feature engineering, etc. See, it is saying sales overview. There are few interesting ideas here, like what is the total number of orders in the database, what are the total number of customers in the database. It is also giving me the sales trend and the seasonality information between December 20 to 2010 and 2011. See, the plot is also annotated, giving me on this particular date, the sales monthly revenue was the highest. Proper descriptions are also available. A lot of details. I don't expect an intern to do a report like this. This has done a report at a senior data analyst level. See how good this report looks like. And most of the facts and figures inside this report are going to be absolutely correct. Definitely, Claude can make mistakes, large language models can make mistakes, but still, it has done a really good job without me doing anything at all. I was doing some other things. I was teaching you some other interesting facts. Parallelly, it did something on my computer. Just imagine tomorrow, let's say, if I start working in a company and somehow some ad hoc work comes to me to perform data analysis on some data set. I don't have to do it manually myself. I can simply give that work to this coworker, Claude coworker, and it can perform that entire operation of creating this report for me. What I have to do instead as a data analyst, as a senior data analyst, or maybe junior data analyst is to verify whether this report is actually correct or not. Are you getting it? Please remember, every large language model makes mistake. Do you know there is a very important terminology for that mistake? We call the mistake done by a large language model as hallucination. All right. And we have to definitely ensure that the work provided, the work done by large language models are properly verified by you. All right. You should be able to know how to verify. Now tell me, how will you verify this? Without knowing data analysis, can you verify this? Without knowing data analysis, can you verify this? Do you need to know, or do you need to be really good at data analysis to be able to verify this? Or you should not know anything on data analysis? Please note that in order to verify this report, I should be a very good data analyst. I should have really good concepts, fundamentals, very strong fundamentals in order to in order to be able to verify whether this report created by Claude is correct or incorrect. How many of you are able to understand what I am trying to present here? Can you please rate your understanding on a scale of 1 to 5 now? Like what I just mentioned, that in order to understand the work done by Claude, you yourself have to be really strong in data analysis. And that is without any doubt the fact uh, right now. A lot of people, they simply say that we are a prompt engineer. Tell me, what will a prompt engineer do if, let's say, some of these numbers are incorrect? If, let's say, some of these figures, plots and figures in the report are incorrect, a prompt engineer cannot do anything. A data analyst can improve on top of whatever has been provided by this particular report. A data analyst will be able to understand what is the meaning of this RFM. See, there is something called as RFM over here. Do you know what RFM is? As a data analyst, only you will understand what RFM is. Otherwise, you will not even know what this RFM is. Let's say tomorrow you have to present this report to your seniors. Without knowing these terminologies, how will you present this report to your senior? RFM over here means recency, frequency, and monetary analysis of a sales data. All right. So this is one of the metrics. In order to know this metric, you have to be even much better at data analysis. Now, this brings us to the last part of our workshop for today. We have generative AI, machine learning, and data science to be discussed in tomorrow's workshop. Please ensure that you attend tomorrow's session as well. But before I end this session, I will ask you one simple question. What do you think will happen in the next upcoming days, months, or years? Do you think data analyst jobs are going to completely vanish? Given that Claude was able to do complete data analysis for me, what do you think will happen? Will the job of data analyst will vanish? What is the problem with that report? What's the problem with that report? Yes, correct. Amazing. Yes, AI will definitely affect job openings. Please note that you as a intern, you as a fresher now has to have very good fundamental knowledge. Without having good fundamental knowledge, it will be very difficult for you to survive. And in order to become really good at fundamentals, you have to become really good at statistics. You have to become really good at mathematics. You have to become really good at probability. You have to become really good at how to do all this data analysis by hand. If you do not do that, what happens? Definitely in that case, as people say that AI will take your job, it will only happen to those people who do not upskill themselves. Are you able to understand and agree to this? Right? So I just showed you the proof, right? First of all, do you all agree that AI was really good at its job? AI created a very good report. How much time will it take for you to create a report like that? How much time will it take for you to create a report like that? Not 2 hours. It will take multiple hours, maybe a day or two, in order to create a report like that. Because you have to do data analysis and you have to write a lot of context as well, a lot of descriptions as well related to each and every single graph or insight you have provided. Right? Maybe if not hours, in case if you are really good, I think the best of the best data scientists will take few days in order to create a report like that. But how much time did AI took to create that report? It took hardly 30 minutes, not even 30 minutes, maybe 15 to 20 minutes to create a report for me like that. Now, what is your role? That is the big question here. If your job is done by AI, what do you do in that case? Let me tell you that. And this is what is currently happening in the market. And if you have a clarity about this, you will be able to save yourself from this AI hype, and you will know exactly what has to be done. Let me share my screen and tell you what has to be done. I will also share the QR code for people who missed marking their attendance before. Just give me a minute or two. Um, Please note that earlier companies used to hire freshers and freshers were given work, correct? Freshers were given work. And who used to verify whether the work done by the fresher is correct, or maybe a person with 1 or 2 years experience is correct or not? Who used to verify? Their managers used to verify, right? Are you getting it? Freshers used to do all this heavy lifting, and managers used to simply verify whether the fresher has done the job correctly. What kind of work? Maybe data cleaning. Data cleaning, you will be asked as a fresher. 3 to 4 years back, this is what used to happen. Even 1 or 2 years back, this is what used to happen. Fresher used to be given work of data cleaning, used to be given work of data analysis, used to be given work of feature engineering. Manager sitting on top of fresher, manager sitting on top of fresher used to provide prompts to fresher, used to provide instructions to fresher. Do you agree with that? Manager used to provide instructions to the fresher, instructions to the freshers. Do this, do not do that. Can you please fix that plot? This is not the right way to do it. Can you please ensure that rather than computing mean, you compute median? Those instructions used to be given by the manager to the fresher. Now, what is happening? AI is replacing this job. So you as a fresher has to upskill yourself to gain exposure and experience as if you are a manager. All right. So in simple terms, the seniority has increased because of the advancements in AI. Jobs are still there. The only thing is AI does all this heavy lifting nowadays. AI does all the heavy lifting of data cleaning, EDA, feature engineering, etc. Nowadays, you as an fresher, now you can't just train yourself into technology. You don't have to only train, or you should not only train yourself into technology, because if you keep training yourself in doing the best possible data cleaning or doing the best possible ED or doing the best possible feature engineering, AI will definitely replace you. You should target better roles. And what I've seen personally in the market is the money companies used to pay to a fresher has also increased because definitely the ownership has increased. Companies will not call you a manager on the day one. They will definitely still call you a fresher. But you as a fresher, you know what you should do? You should be a data analyst. You should be a data analyst with with some generative AI skill set. How many of you agree with this point, which I think I proved this in front of you, that why this is supposed to be done. Now, if you have to be data analyst with generative AI skill set, what does it mean? It means that you need to know all these tools. What kind of tools? I know that Claude exists. I know how to use Claude. And this is what you should definitely master. It's not only important for you to master data analysis, it is also very important for you to master these tools so that you can effectively and efficiently do your job much better than somebody who is not using AI. AI is not actually replacing you. A person who knows how to use AI will definitely replace you. But please note that somebody, let's say this is you, and this is your competition one versus competition two. Tell me, which competitor are you supposed to be more scared of? Competitor one only knows how to use tools. When I say tools, AI tools. Competitor two, he or she knows data analysis plus generative AI tools. Tell me, which competitor should you scare from? Competitor two. This is dangerous, right? Dangerous combination right now in the market. All right. You know what is happening because of AI and ML in the market, generative AI in the market, ChatGPT in the market. Students who are right now learning data analysis, they will do their assignments by using all these tools available. They will never learn fundamentals. They will directly start using AI tools, which will make them completely never learn properly each and every single fundamental. When this person goes for an interview, can you tell me what will interviewer ask? In the interview, what will interviewer ask? Is interviewer going to ask generative AI tools or interviewer going to ask data analysis fundamentals? In interview, interviewer is going to ask all the basics and fundamentals. Correct. Correct, Karthik. Basics plus fundamentals. Interviewer will not ask you to tell how to use Claude. Definitely, having this is an additional skill set on your resume. But without this, definitely it will be very difficult to get a job right now in the market. And this is not only true for data analysts, this is also true for machine learning engineers. Machine learning engineers should also learn how to use Gen AI tools. Software engineers should also learn how to use Gen AI tools. In our company, we have HRs. HRs, they are not supposed to be technical people, right? Even we are hiring HRs who know Gen AI tools. We are not hiring people directly without having any knowledge of Gen AI tools. Right? If you are in sales, you need to know Gen AI tools. What is the benefit of Gen AI tools? Using these Gen AI tools, if you know how to use Gen AI tools as well as you are a really good sales executive, you will be able to do work of 10 people rather than a person who doesn't know how to use a generative AI. Can you now rate your understanding on what I am trying to make you understand on a scale of 1 to 5? And how many of you agree with this? And please try to also understand that all of this, whatever I'm telling you, is coming from an experience wherein I am trying to consult a lot of companies as well, product-based companies in Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Pune, who are actually doing the same exact thing which you are trying to learn right now. In every company, they have stopped hiring people who are like only using AI tools and call themselves as prompt engineer. There is no use of being a prompt engineer without having any skill set. Prompt engineer is like a person who knows how to use a computer, but they do not know anything at all. They do not know how to build a software. They do not know how to build a data analytics pipeline. All right. So you have to become a good prompt engineer as well as you have to become a really good expert in data analysis. People who were asking for attendance, kindly ensure that you scan this QR code in order to mark your attendance. And there are so many people who were also asking for some guidance on becoming better at data analysis and generative AI. In that case, I would suggest you to properly do a market research in case if you are looking for any courses or any help in becoming better data analyst or data engineer. Please try to ensure that I showed you how to use Claude, right? I just dropped some document and then I asked a question. Similarly, every training institute out there will have a curriculum, right? Institute out there will have a curriculum. I would suggest you to always pick all the curriculums from various institutes, put it in chat GPT and try to ask questions, compare the curriculums and check which curriculum is the best curriculum currently in the market as per the current data science generative AI standards. I will share the prompt as well. Don't worry. I'll share this handwritten notebook. I will also share the prompt with you so that you can take it forward and you know how to utilize that prompt. You can go through that prompt and see how to utilize it as well. Always ensure that regardless of curriculum, there are many other factors you should always take care of. You should always ask about trainers, what kind of trainers are teaching in the institute. Try to ensure that you check whether the trainers are industry professionals or not. It should not happen that you take admission in a institute in case if you want to learn data science and data analytics institute where they are hiring people from colleges like faculty members from colleges. You have to take an admission to a place where they are bringing faculties, data scientists who are working currently in the market. All right. Please try to always ensure that the training institute is also providing you mentoring support. Look at what kind of projects are they providing. Look at what kind of placements they are providing. And only then try to take admission into a course. And the reason I want, see, I'm not directly asking you to maybe explore opportunities with Innomatics. Innomatics is one of the best institutes who provide all these things in a silver platter directly to you as a student. But I want you to look into what market is providing and how the market is currently moving, and what kind of opportunities companies, training institute also provide you after you complete your curriculum in one of the institutes. Um, when will the next free data science internship program at Innovatics begin? I think it will begin in November or December this year. So you have to just wait for a few more months before that program kicks in. Um, how to become better at data analytics steps? Please provide some suggestions. Remember the steps which I showed you. Always think about loading the data into a tool that you are comfortable with. You might be comfortable with Excel, but if you do not know how to bring the data from cloud server, put it into the Excel, how will you do the data analysis? You will never be able to do the data analysis, right? Maybe let's say you are very good at Power BI. All right. Right now in the market, tools, they are becoming very simple to use. You should do many other things beyond just using tools. You should become really good at understanding that entire process and how that entire process also executes. Take the data, learn how to load the data into a tool that you are comfortable with. Maybe you are comfortable with Python. Python is one of the most popular and most powerful tool out there to perform data analytics. After learning how to load the data, try to learn how to clean the data. After the data is clean, neat and clean, then you learn how to apply various statistical approaches, both visual and non-visual, on the data. Once the visual and non-visual statistics are applied, try to return insights. Do not just return the plots, do not just return the mean median values. Try to provide insights so that these insights can allow businesses to take decisions. All right, this is a typical pipeline of a data analysis project. Regardless of whether this project is done within a company or maybe personally, you should always explore these steps. Load the data, clean the data, apply analysis. When I say apply analysis, apply statistical approaches to analyze the data, generate insights, and from those insights, take decisions. Is that clear? See, people who are asking notes and prompt, which I've shown you today, I would request all of you to please scan this, fill the form. Whoever fills the form, please ensure that you provide a correct email ID. We will share these notes and prompts within next 2 to 3 hours on this email ID. And before you leave this session, do you know what is there to like? Do we have any session tomorrow? Do we have any other session tomorrow? Yes. And what is the agenda of tomorrow's session? What is the agenda of tomorrow's session? AI, ML, or generative AI. In the first 30 minutes, let me quickly put the agenda. In the first 30 minutes of the session, even if you are completely clueless about generative AI, I will make you build an application. All right. In the first 30 minutes, you will be able to build an application, a generative AI application very similar to ChatGPT. ChatGPT is an application, right? So I'll show you how to build that application in the first 30 minutes. And then from there on, we'll try to see some interesting interview questions that can be asked. See, even if you do not know anything about generative AI, machine learning, or deep learning, you can still learn and understand this entire concept clearly within 2 hours. I won't say that you will become expert, but you will at least be able to understand and appreciate how generative AI actually works. So that tomorrow, if you start exploring this field yourself, it will be easier for you to do that. Will that be fine for all of us? How to start learning data analysis as a beginner or generative AI data science as a beginner? Just wait for one more day. Tomorrow, I will put a complete roadmap. Even if you want to do it personally, let's say you don't want to spend any money in order to take admissions in any institutes, you can take this roadmap and become really very powerful in the domain of data science, generative AI, and data analytics. If you follow this roadmap as it is, in 2026. This is because we are delivering the similar kind of a roadmap to a lot of companies as well who wants their workforce to be trained in generative AI, data science, and all these relevant fields. All right, so I'll share that roadmap with you tomorrow. Yes, I'll share the prompt Jupyter notebook as well as these handwritten notes. Do you want these handwritten notes as well? Do you want these handwritten notes as well? In these handwritten notes, I've kept few more questions. See, if you can see, there are few more um, questions, like interview questions. I think it will be really helpful for you if you can go through these interview questions as well. All right, so I'll share these handwritten notes with you. Whoever has attended today's session and filled the this attendance form by scanning this, after scanning this QR. People who are looking for more like insights into data science and generative AI, I also would like to provide you directly the education counselor, senior education counselor numbers. I'm displaying it on the screen. Please take a screenshot just in case if you want to ask them, how do I become a data analyst, or how do I become a data scientist or a generative AI engineer? They will be able to guide you. Both of them, Ishwar and Akhil, they both are very senior people. They have been working with Innomatics for more than 5 years, and they have helped more than thousands, not just thousands, 5,000s of people into data science, generative AI, and many other domains. And people who are actually working in the industry, they keep guiding these people, so you can directly connect with them to get more details about. So it's completely free education counseling. So you can directly call them and ask them any questions you have. All right. So hope you were able to enjoy today's session. Just a quick rating on a scale of 1 to 5 again, if you were able to enjoy this. Tomorrow, I can guarantee you it will be like a blockbuster for everybody who wants to become a generative AI expert. Um, my expertise is into AI, ML, and generative AI. And if you are able to enjoy today's session, tomorrow is definitely going to be much better. I will definitely show you how to build some applications. I don't want you to do those applications parallelly with me, but I'll show you some really crazy things tomorrow. That's all for today. Thank you so much for listening to me. In case if you want to connect with us, please feel free to call these numbers. Recordings and everything will be provided to you. Don't worry about that. We have already asked you to fill this form after scanning this QR code. Yes, I will ensure that there is no network issue tomorrow. I don't want to waste any time just the way it happened today. Let's not let it happen. I will ensure that tomorrow there will be no network glitches, and we'll try to do a smooth, seamless session tomorrow on generative AI, and we'll ensure that you understand generative AI end to end. Won't become an expert, you won't become an expert, but you will definitely become a really good. You will become at least 90% better than everybody else who is trying to learn generative AI right now. That's all for today. Thank you so much. And see you tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, sharp at 11 a.m. We'll start the session. That's it. Yes, we'll discuss about the roadmap tomorrow in the session towards that. If you still have any questions, you can wait and ask your question. I'll wait for maybe 5 more minutes, just in case if somebody wants to ask any question. All right, somebody, Anu, has asked a question. Yes, Claude must have definitely deleted. So you have to steer Claude with your inputs properly. Otherwise, Claude will definitely take those kind of decisions. What is my name? My name is Kanav Bansal. I'm the CTO at Innomatics Research Labs and a chief data scientist as well. Which one plays a key role in data analysis, EDA or Power BI? Sai Rakesh. Very good question, and thank you so much for asking this question. Very interesting question. Please note that EDA is a process. All right. What is that process? That process speaks about loading the data. The process speaks about cleaning the data. The process speaks about analyzing the data. The process speaks about generating insights from the data, from that cleaned, analyzed data. The process also speaks about taking decisions, business decisions based on the insights you have generated. Power BI is a tool that allows you to apply that process. Hope you are able to get it right. EDA is a process. Power BI is a tool that allows you to perform that entire process and do it. Apart from Power BI, you have many other tools. Python is one very powerful tool. Microsoft Excel is another very powerful tool. MySQL is another powerful tool that also allows you to perform this process. Hope that answers your question, Rakesh. Is DSA important in data analysis? For data analysis, definitely DSA is not important that much. But as a person who is, see, it depends. Let me ask you another question, a reverse question, Vishnu. Are you targeting product-based companies or are you targeting startups? Or are you targeting services companies? There are three types of companies: startups, services companies, and product-based companies. Product-based companies, when I say companies like Google, Microsoft, they all are uh, uh, they all are product-based companies. Similarly, when you say service-based companies, Infosys, TCS, Wipro, they are services companies. If you are targeting services companies, Vishnu, no need to focus on DSA. You can directly just enhance your skill in data analytics and also try to see if you can enhance your communication skills. They focus a lot on communication skills, aptitude. These are the three things you have to upskill on. Data analysis, you have to upskill on aptitude, and you have to upskill on communication skills. Got it? That's really good to know, Rakesh. Hope your learning journey with us is going smooth. What is the prompt engineering? What if the prompt engineering, or I don't, I did, oh, what is prompt engineering? See, Cycron prompt engineering is all about writing instructions for large language model in such a way that it gives you much better response. All right. I will explain this concept in tomorrow's session in more clarity, because tomorrow we will be speaking about generative AI related stuff. All right. For data scientist, we need to have a skill called, do we need to have a skill called TSA? Again, Sunny, I asked this question, right? What kind of companies are you planning for? Are you planning for like product-based, service-based, or startups? If you are planning for product-based companies, DSA is mandatory. Got it? DSA is mandatory only for product-based companies and for some startups. But majority of service-based companies and majority of startups, they do not care about DSA. They directly care about other skills. Like apart from data science, you should also maybe have a really good communication and aptitude in case if you are going for services companies. For startups, they will not care about aptitude. They will care about your technical skill and maybe whether you know how to use generative AI tools to be like 100 times better at your job than a regular data scientist. For data scientist, okay, I think I answered that question. What about certificates? Certificates will be provided only after completing tomorrow's session. You should be present in both the sessions and you should be actively participating in the discussion with me throughout the session to get the certificate. Today's class notes will be provided to you, Rakesh. After the session gets completed, I will shoot an email to all of the participants containing the notes, prompts, as well as the Jupyter notebook I showed in the session today. If we are applying in startups, do we need to learn DSA as data analyst or data scientist? Not necessarily. See, whenever you apply for a startup, you will always be able to check their Glassdoor profile. All right. So whenever you apply for a company, look at their Glassdoor profile. In Glassdoor profile, you will find their past interviews. All right. People like us who interview at these companies, we will typically provide a review. In that review, you will see whether they ask DSA or not. If they do not ask DSA, try to focus on the skills. If they ask DSA, you have to prepare for DSA as well. I hope I answered all these questions. Sakshi, I mentioned already that both the sessions attendance is mandatory to get the certificate for workshop. Is AI developer and agentic AI different? Very good question. Vishnu, can you wait for one more day for me to answer that question? because tomorrow anyhow we will be discussing about Gen AI, agentic AI stuff. So no, no, no. Tomorrow it will be generative AI related discussions, not data analysis related discussions. I see. I had 2 days, today and tomorrow. So today I plan to only cover data analysis related stuff and show you the power of generative AI. Tomorrow I'll try to actually dig deeper into the generative AI ML roles in case if you are interested. Timings will remain the same, 11 to 1. What are the important concepts in data science for a senior level? See, the landscape for a senior level profile in data science is changing drastically. Like right now, like apart from technical skills, it's also very important for you to have very strong people skills. As in, like you should be able to handle maybe 2 to 3 people under you. You should be able to also understand how to work with multiple cross maybe remote teams, some offline teams, some online teams. Overall, you should not just be a technical person, you should be technical plus functional person as a senior data scientist, because that is how the industry is going towards, that is the direction in which the industry is currently going towards. The reason why am I saying that you have to be good people person as well is because uh, right now a lot of technical stuff can be done using AI tools, right? So if AI tools are able to do a lot of technical stuff, so it's important for you to understand that a person who doesn't know anything about data analytics can also do data analysis nowadays. It's a completely different story that whether they will be able to do a effective data analysis or will they be able to verify their work properly or not. But at least they can do the bare minimum, right? A person who doesn't know how to write the code can use ChatGPT to write complete application, right? So what you should actually explore is how or what kind of a skill do you bring as a data scientist at a senior role that gives benefit to the company, and that is nothing but like how do you manage your work, how do you manage people under you, which becomes highly valuable, even though a lot of AI is available. AI can't do that stuff. All right, talking to the customers, getting the requirement from the customers, all these things are very, very critical and crucial uh, for you to master right now. All right, for data analysis, the jobs focused on only BTech graduate, not MBA background. That's not actually true, Dinesh. See, you understood everything we did today, right? Now, regardless of whether you are from MBA or BTech, definitely BTech background will have some additional benefit. But if somebody from MBA can demonstrate really good skill set in data analysis, companies will definitely hire them. Nowadays, degrees doesn't matter much. What really matters is your skill and how effective are you in your job. So Vishnu is saying that I'm in, okay, and I'm not sure that I can crack a job or not. And I'm confused in choosing my role for the job. Definitely, Vishnu, I would suggest you to call one of these numbers, which are listed on the screen, and try to ask all these questions. This is something that Innomatics helps people with. We have a very strong placement record, and we do not make you sit for 4 years, unlike colleges. We simply ask you to come and work with us for 6 months, and within 6 months, we'll show you the results. We'll make you job ready. Will data analysis be important in the next 20 years? 20 years is a very long time. Maybe I'm not sure, but data analysis will always be important. See, data analysis is something we do every single day without even knowing that we are doing data analysis. Let me just take a small example. Like I, as a person, I have many expenses, right? I spend on food, I spend on various items, clothing, etc. And sometimes I will spend extra. And in case if I spend extra, what do? I go to my bank account. I download the bank statement for the last 1 month. And what do we do with that bank statement? We start analyzing, right? Data analysis is a job which will never go away until unless AI-based systems becomes really good at doing data analysis for us. All right. But still, using AI also, you should know how to do data analysis. Do you remember what we learned today? The difference between mean and median. Let's say you are using AI and you ask what is the average spend done by me. You are not asking median spend, you are asking average spend. What if you have some outliers in your expenses? Your mean spend is going to definitely get heavily skewed because of that outlier in the data. Getting it? So data analysis is not the skill which will go away, but the way we do data analysis might definitely change. Somebody was earlier asking about Power BI. Do you know there are Copilot linked to the Power BI nowadays? Nowadays, you don't even need to define the entire dashboard inside Power BI manually. You can simply write a prompt in Power BI, and Power BI will do the entire job for you. You just need to verify whether the Power BI is doing the job properly or not. And you will not be able to verify that unless you are really good at Power BI. All right. So earlier, freshers were expected to know at least ABCD. Nowadays, freshers are expected to even know some experienced things, like the way a senior data scientist or senior data analyst would know. All right. So the seniority of fresher role, as I mentioned before, is increasing day by day. And as a fresher, you have to definitely keep that in mind and try to become much better every single day. It's really very important for you to do that. I have faced a question called why should we hire you when we have AI to do very good question, Sunny. You ask them, you tell them, see, they are not challenging you, they are trying to check whether you know or whether you are fine working with AI, whether what kind of mentality or mindset you have. They want to simply understand that. Listen to my answer. In case if a company asks me this question, I'll tell them this. Yes, definitely AI can do the job which you are hiring me to do, but AI can make mistakes. And those mistakes AI makes are typically termed as hallucination. I know how to work with these AI tools. I know how to control hallucination as well. I'm a really good data analyst. And I have already done multiple projects using AI tools and improved my implementations over the last few months. And these are the projects I've done. And this is the way I've used various different AI tools in order to implement these projects as well. All right. They're not trying to challenge your intelligence. They are simply trying to see if you are uh, okay to work with AI tools. And do you actually know where AI tools actually fail? All right. So that is what more majorly companies will try to ask in case if they are asking this kind of a question. When we have AI, why do I hire you? Right. Hope that answers your question, sir. For data analyst, the job description mentions only BTech. That's not true, Dinesh. Even though the job description mentions BTech, try to apply for the job. See, at Innomatics, we have a lot of people coming not just from BTech background, but coming from pharma background, BCom background, BSc background, MBA background, BBA background. And all these people are equally eligible for a lot of jobs. Definitely, we also get companies who will directly say that, no, 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 we don't want any other candidate apart from BTech. But we also provide a lot of opportunities because, see, you directly talking to the HR versus our experts talking to the HR is very different thing, right? Two very different things. So our experts knows how to convince HRs in order to hire even somebody from MBA background, or at least give some opportunities for somebody from MBA background in data science or data analysis domain. All right. So I think I answered most of your questions. Are there any more questions? Yes, Vedika, tomorrow, as I promised, tomorrow I will put a proper roadmap on the screen. And I will explain what you need to do in order to become a good data analyst or data scientist. For both, I will show you a roadmap. All right. Yes. See, and it's very important, Vedika, to know the roadmap because see, you can't learn everything. If you start learning everything, it will take more than 100 years for you to become an expert in every single thing in data analysis. What you need to learn right now is the bare minimum to get you a job, right? So I'll try to provide you that roadmap. Like, what is that bare minimum you should learn in order to start appearing for job interviews? All right. So that's all for today. I hope you had a wonderful time. I will share all these assets. When I say assets, Jupyter Notebook, as well as recording, as well as the handwritten notes, so that you can start practicing and be ready for the next session as well. That's all. See you tomorrow. Bye. Take care and have a good day.